that Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion, then it's growing 20% a year. And that capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
How many Bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. What a crazy weekend for Bitcoin. We have a lot of things to discuss. One of them obviously being the CME futures gap, which closed but then opened another one. We also have the president coming out talking about a crypto strategic reserve, and now today the price is falling back down, but there is something on the charts that hasn't happened yet, but it looks like it is about to happen very soon. And the last several times that this happened, it turned out to actually be very, very beneficial for the Bitcoin price. So we're going to keep this video a little bit short, but as you guys could see, we were sitting at around 10, extreme fear, and on the fear and greed index. And then we had this tweet come out from Donald Trump. And, you know, he talks about the crypto reserve. They had mentioned XRP, Solana, Cardano. They all started pumping. And then, of course, he came out and mentioned, you know, obviously it would include Bitcoin and Ethereum. And, you know, now the extreme fear has gone to about 33. So people got excited about that. But if we have a look at what actually happened here, you know, if we come over, the only issue is that we were inside of this parallel channel for a while, right? And we came up, we did close the daily candle above it, but as soon as we opened today on Monday, we came back down. So the one thing that you do have to remember is, number one, when you have these crazy moves on the weekends, we've always said this, there is a very good chance that the price tends to go back to where it was, you know? So if you have a massive dump over the weekend, it usually tends to catch up on Monday with a pump and vice versa, right? But it's not actually as bad as it seems, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But the interesting thing is, you can see right here, more than 70% of the realized Bitcoin losses came from holders who bought in just the last month. So this is, again, telling you that you had a lot of these new traders, retail, whatever, coming in, speculating on, you know, these meme coins or whatever, even buying some Bitcoin. And then as soon as it gets difficult, as soon as they start to lose some money, they can't handle it, you know, because it is a very volatile market, right? To have these 20 to 30% swings. And unfortunately, what ends up happening in the background is while the little guy is getting wrecked, you have Fidelity literally just announcing that they bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin. So you have the retail FOMOing out of their positions, selling for losses, and the big guys are scooping it up, right? You have to follow what the smart money is doing. I mean, this was actually even quite shocking. Peter Schiff, he said, I get the rationale for a Bitcoin reserve. I don't agree with it, but I get it. We have a gold reserve. He says Bitcoin is digital gold, which is better than analog gold. I never thought I'd see the day in which Peter would actually admit that Bitcoin is better than gold. I mean, that's kind of what he said. He said he doesn't agree with it, but I think if you read between the lines, he probably knows. So this is the chart that we have to talk about today. Does anybody know what this is? This is global liquidity, and we're going to talk about why this chart is so important. So again, super quick video, but I do just want to mention, guys, we have 6 days for this 5 Ethereum airdrop. They're giving away 5 ETH, so all you have to do is just sign up below. You just have to do a spot or contract trade. It could literally be for $5 or $10. There is no limit, and you will receive a random ETH drop to anyone that uses the link below. So if you want to sign up using the link below, you can literally deposit. This is a non-KYC exchange, and they are doing a free ETH airdrop. Also, we have the 10% cashback still going for Blowfin. And pretty cool news, guys, LevX, which is where you can go and actually see the personal trades of, you know, stuff like what I do. They actually finally have their iOS app. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of people were waiting for that. So again, those are all below. So this is the thing right here, guys. we had the CME futures gap, right? Way down here. Now, technically, it did not close. The gap would have had to gone to about 77,850, whereas the low only went to about 78,600. So we were still off by a little bit. Now, do you consider that to be 100% closed? Technically, no. But maybe the markets say that that's enough, right? But the problem is we have now created this new gap right here. And in order to close that, we would have to go to about 85,720. Now, there were a lot of people that were calling me crazy, saying that we weren't going to go down there, especially when we were up here. And I said, guys, markets tend to more than not, 95, 96% of the time, we do close these gaps. For whatever reason that is, it just tends to happen. So it wouldn't be surprising if we tried to, maybe come down and reclose this one, or even reattempt to fully close this. I don't know, because we're running out of time. But the issue that we did have with that move is, even though this was an in my opinion, this was an incredibly bullish candle. The only thing that would have made this weekly more bullish is if it closed green. It didn't. It closed red. But you can see right here, right, if you draw these spider lines that I have right here, the problem is that we actually had that act as resistance, and currently we're sitting below this range. So we said a more likely scenario possibly would be to come back down maybe in this area and bounce around a little bit before continuing to the upside, right? Because you could see there's really no activity at all. I mean, you just had 3 green candles shoot right up. And again, this is not me being bearish. It's just being very realistic. The overall trend of Bitcoin is still to the upside. We haven't broken market structure. We are in a bull market, maybe not, 20% definition of, traditional stocks, but for Bitcoin, this is very much so a bull market. And these dips, as I've been saying, are opportunities for accumulation. However, there's a few things we got to go over. So getting back to the money supply, the M2, the global liquidity, whatever you want to call it, here's a very interesting stat. 2013 cycle, it was up 26%. 2017 cycle, it was up 22%. 2021 cycle, it was up 49%. This cycle so far, 0.5%. So like Bitcoin Isaiah says, we've seen the entire bull market happen with no new money in circulation. That's pretty incredible. What do you think is going to happen when it starts moving the other way? Well, guess what? It already has. As you can see right here, we tend to lag. Give or take, some people say it could be 6 weeks, it could be up to 3 months, right? But ultimately, Bitcoin tends to follow the global liquidity, right? But there is a little bit of a lag. And you could see as it started to come down, we were going up, right? Because it was going up here, but Bitcoin is a little late to the party. Well, it's already bottomed and it started moving to the upside. However, Bitcoin is moving down, right? Because it's having that lag. So what is this telling us? Well, it's telling us that possibly with this 3-month lag, like Colin Talks Crypto points out, this could mean that we might have that sideways choppiness still for a little bit, but sometime around April, we should be looking for a massive move. So, and again, I'm going to show you why this corresponds with a very interesting chart that we've talked about. And I think that this could be that opportunity for a lot of the people that were upset that Bitcoin was moving too fast, it was getting too expensive. You might have an opportunity again. Maybe that was it. Maybe we don't go any lower. Maybe we fill that gap and we never go back down to 70 again. But there is that possibility of the sideways accumulation. Now, this is something that we need to talk about. Look at what is just starting to form right here. This is the minor capitulation, the hash ribbons, right? And right here, you could see that we started to get that capitulation. Now, it's not fully confirmed just yet, but if you go back in the past to basically every time that we've had these moves, you start to get that capitulation. And generally speaking, this one right here is a little bit of an outlier. We were in a downtrend, but we are currently in an uptrend. I mean, you can't deny that from this point. Okay, down here around 15,000, this is an uptrend. We are going to the upside. And you can see every time we eventually get these buy signals, right? We haven't had it yet, but what happened here? Price doesn't go up immediately, goes sideways, but then we step up, right? We got this buy right here. What happens? Actually came down, went sideways, and then eventually went up. So these are very good indicators that something is possibly coming. Here's the last one, right? Look, we actually went down and sideways, but eventually went back up. Same thing right here. what did we do? We went down and sideways and eventually went up. And again, we're putting in right here. So I would say that this is telling us that we could be continuing this uptrend, because if you have a look at just this very simple area, right? If we go between the 0.423, which is the top of the previous cycle extension, and we take it to the 1.618, we've just been bouncing around. Essentially, you could see, like, for example, back here, right? We bounce between the 0.786 and the 1, right? We bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we build structure, now we break. And what have we been doing? We've been in this range again. So these are monthly candles, and I know that it's boring to look at these monthly charts, but you could technically go 1, 2, even maybe 3 more months, right? Until we hit this line again. And that's very interesting, considering that, you know, Colin thinks April we could start having that move to the upside. You know, maybe we do have a boring March and then we continue, right? And the next area, by the way, would be around $150,000, because that's the 2.68. So basically, in a nutshell, you may have these opportunities. We haven't lost any structure here. We're still in the green. The lowest level of this guppy band is around 70,400, and obviously this goes up over time. And, you know, just like here, it's okay if you fall into the band. What you don't want to do is you don't want to fall below it, right? So yeah, guys, Bitcoin could realistically go down to $70,400 and still actually be in an uptrend, okay? And if we come over here and you want to talk about the ultimate line in the sand, if you just have a look at the simple moving averages, in every single bull market, you just basically want to stay above the 50, which is this yellow line, and you don't want to have the 21 cross below. So even here, right, we came low, but what happened? Bitcoin came down to 32 and then still went all the way back up to 69, right? Well, if we look right here, this is barely curving. I mean, this obviously, you know, this can go sideways, it can go down. So the green, you know, as long as we don't have something like this, then we're fine. And Bitcoin didn't even come down to touch the 50. The 50 is sitting at 75. So again, for everyone freaking out, we have plenty of money flow over here. Yes, the RSI is a bit high, but keep in mind it can stay there for a lot longer than most people think. And we have a perfect structure, 200, 150, 21. We don't have this crossing over. We don't have any kind of death cross, and we didn't even come down to the 50. So this is showing that there were a lot of buyers that were stepping in. And yeah, there is the possibility of going lower again, but ultimately, just to keep this video nice and short, I think everything is fine. There's no reason for panic. It's okay if we retrace the whole move. I mean, it would suck, right, to have that kind of volatility, but that's what Bitcoin is known for. But at the end of the day, everything's looking good for Bitcoin. And like I said, could we, you know, have a little bit of sideways and down again just because we broke that structure? You know, it's like the momentum of a train, right? Once the train comes to a complete stop, you got to kind of get that momentum going back up again. But the overall train, like the overall market, is still fine. We still have a nice bullish structure. There's no top signals. The pi cycle indicator is not, you know, at the levels where we should be getting concerned. So ultimately, I think that we're still on for a very nice rally. And, you know, we could see that $150,000 at some point this year. Could we go higher than that? Sure. But I think that's a very realistic target. So considering the price that we're at now, and, you know, could we have another opportunity? Again, I think it's a good opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Not financial advice. Do what you want. But, that strategy has always worked. And by the way, guys, Meta Signals, just to let you guys know, if you don't know what it is basically an alert system. You know, I like to use it in conjunction with my actual analysis. It's fast-paced. You can join the Discord for free. But I just want to let you know that they do have, if you don't want to buy the NFT, which I do recommend because it comes with a lot of perks, you can just do a free 14-day trial, or you could just buy the annual pass if you want, but you will miss out on all of this. For example, with the NFT, you do get 3,000 USDT cash back. You also get Eric Crown's trading course, you get his indicator, and you also get the VMP. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Like I said, I did actually want to make a short video because I don't think there's a lot to say. I know it can seem crazy, but at the end of the day, Bitcoin is going to do what Bitcoin's going to do, and I still think all these dips are for buying. I don't see any reason why we should be panicking at all, unless, of course, you're in meme coins, which we've discussed that. And if you guys do want to learn how to trade, I do have a tutorial for Femex popping up somewhere over here. They do have their 5 ETH, which is pretty cool. Like, you can just sign up. It's no KYC. You deposit. You can trade $10, $5, and that'll make you eligible, but you do have to use that link below. But that's it for me, guys. Until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.